Hey there guys, and welcome back to another video. I am so excited to talk about this. Today we have something very special. It isn't every day that we have a product that I would recommend to such a high degree. As you can tell, we will be talking about a book called The Monsters Know What They're Doing by Keith Ammann. This dude here. He started a blog, but not one of those cringy blogs, a really good blog. And it got so popular that he decided to turn his posts into a book. A book that is over 300 pages long and filled with arguably the best content I've read from a third-party product. Now this book focuses entirely on tactics for running NPCs so that your monsters don't end up a weird buggy mess. So you know how the mage has like 10 spells and you're not 100% sure of what each spell does because you haven't read every spell and memorized the best thing that they can do for the mage in exactly the right moment and for what situation? Well, Keith has. So this book features most monsters in the monster manual, and his blog has even more again. This tells you the best way to run combat and creatures in the most strategic way you possibly can. It even gives you a turn-by-turn breakdown of the monster's best action choices given for certain situations. So that you can get a better understanding of what I'm on about, I'm going to pass you over to my past self so that you can take a look at one example and the detail given and put into this book. Thank you, past me. So as you can see guys, I am right here with the book now, and we're going to be taking a look at the Goblinoids section. You see, this section is really interesting because goblins are probably the first creature that your players are going to encounter, and so it's really interesting to look at the tactics and the way in which this book suggests we use them. You'll be surprised to hear that this section is actually about 3 pages long. It actually stops here. So we actually talk about the Goblin Big Boss in this page here. So it actually goes from pages, I believe, 15 all the way to 19. This is fantastic because goblins, as I said, are a really common enemy in D&D games. You're likely to experience them and use them as a DM quite a few times in your campaign and your DM career. So they actually talk through this section. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but they talk a little bit about the goblin being a very high dexterity based fighter, talking about the use of dark vision and sneaking, and basically using cover to make themselves much better. See, enjoying 3/4 cover, giving them a +5 bonus to their AC. This shows that the writer not only knows their rules, but also knows how to use them with their PCs and with their NPCs to the maximum effect. It even tells you the perfect distance a goblin should be from your players to gain the maximum benefits, and that is 40 feet. So this is a very detailed section talking about a very basic and simple enemy. So you can just imagine the kinds of details that they put in to the enemies like mages and other such creatures who have more complicated stat blocks. This is a fantastic book. Okay, so now you've seen what I mean, but why this book? Well, nobody wants NPCs that feel like this. Combat is one of the 3 core pillars of D&D, and this book helps to make it even better. If monsters have a combat tactic that players can memorize, then it becomes a matter of skill. Players who can memorize combat tactics of monsters can easily plan for certain combats. This adds a new layer of skill and depth that most games lack. It makes planning encounters easier, tougher and more interactive. It adds a layer of strategy and skill. It also allows lower level enemies to be used at later levels by giving them more advanced tactics. It isn't very often that you'll hear me say this, but I really do think that this book is capable of making you a better DM and a better player. It isn't just me saying it either. Check out the back of this book and some of the comments from Joe Manganiello, among others. I wanted to quickly mention as well that Keith's continuing his blog, so be sure to check that out in the description. And he is releasing another book that you can pre-order right now, and it's focused on tactics for players. So that's all for today guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.